Hi everyone. In this video, I will discuss three stocks from jewelry sector which are showing high growth quarter on quarter. We'll understand the market outlook for these stocks and then the overall jewelry theme. And we will also be looking into the quarterly result of these three stocks. In my last video, I have tried to explain the financial budget impact to consumption sector. Now with financial budget and RBI rate cut is setting the tone for the market. I know as of now we are seeing highly volatile market. With these measure, I'm not saying volatility will go away. It is here to stay. But if one can analyze the good stocks in good theme, there are chances we can make good return out of it. If we see any news channel or read any article, everybody is talking about that in 2025 no one can make the money, no one should be expecting good return. So what can be done? So basically, what we have to do, we have to choose stocks which are growing quarter on quarter, which are outperforming the market expectation. And then if we'll allocate our money to these stocks, there are chances to make money. And there is another thing which I want to point out here, that what normally we do, we always try to look into YouTube videos or news channel anchors, and then we listen to them. And accordingly, we put our money to a particular stock, which shouldn't be the case. We should be listening to the management guidance. We should be listening to the people who are driving the company. But that is not the case with most of us. जो गाड़ी चला रहा है उसको ज़्यादा अच्छे से पता होगा कि वो गाड़ी कितनी तेज भाग सकती है, कब वो एक टारगेट को अचीव कर सकता है. दैट इज़ व्हाट वी कॉल मैनेजमेंट गाइडेंस. सो उसको उसकी बात सुनने के अलावा हम दुनिया में सबकी बात सुनते हैं, विच इज़ एक्चुअली नॉट अ राइट प्रैक्टिस. So I would urge all of you to start looking into management guidance, track the management guidance so that you can understand what actually is happening into that area of the stock and particularly with that stock. See what happened, each and every good company publishes their result and then they also host conference call. We should be looking into these artifacts and then we should be going through their quarterly results, listening to the management con calls. आई नो इट्स नॉट दैट ईजी बिकॉज ये जो रिजल्ट्स होते हैं नॉर्मली ये 20 से 30 पेजेस के होते हैं. मैनेजमेंट जो कॉन्फ्रेंस कॉल्स होती हैं आप उसकी भी समरी देखोगे, दैट इज़ अराउंड नॉर्मली गोज बाय 50 to 60 पेज. So use AI. So as I mentioned earlier, in today's video we are going to discuss about the jewelry theme, right? And in my view, jewelry theme and all the stock related to these themes are more or less doing good. And even in coming year, all the stocks related to this theme can do well. The only thing what we have to do, we have to analyze the right stock which can do miracle for us, right? When I'm saying miracle means अच्छे return हमें बना के दे. Before we get into the stocks, let's understand the nitty gritty around the jewelry theme. हमें समझ में आना चाहिए कि ओवरऑल मार्केट कैसा है ज्वेलरी थीम के लिए, क्या टेलविंड है या हेडविंड है. So let's look into this presentation which talks about overall market for jewelry theme. And actually this particular sector or theme, this falls under necessity and premium both. You must have heard that India is moving towards premium. This is one of the sector which actually driven by necessity and premiumness both. घर में कोई भी फंक्शन हो सोना तो लेना ही है. And then the young generation, they are moving towards fancy jewelry and diamond. So now let's discuss the factors driving preferences for jewelry purchases. Consumers increasingly prefer national retail chains, followed by family jewelers, emphasizing trust and accessibility. Brand websites are favored over aggregator platforms, highlighting the importance of direct engagement and brand authenticity. And then the brand heritage and long standing relationship play a pivotal role. In store experience, brand certification play again significant role. Quality, price, and design are the key differentiator for these purchase preferences. Higher age and income level are directly correlated with increased frequency of jewelry purchase. Fine jewelry is the preferred choice for major life events like wedding and festival, with its popularity growing steadily over the past 3 years. Okay, so I will run through this particular slide. I have actually borrowed from P and Gadgil's result, but if you see, this is not their report. This is actually a report of Deloitte. So first of all, there is a shift from unorganized sector to organized. If you see in financial year 20, the unorganized sector was around 68%, whereas organized sector was around 32%, which is now increased for year 2024. Unorganized is now 62 and organized sector is now 38. So there is an increase, and that is what is happening in a good pace. and that is one of the big reason why these all big players are actually showing good growth. I will not go through all the details of this slide. You can probably pause the video and then go through it. And then India is witnessed approximately 10 million weddings each year, that is also contributing to an estimated demand of 300 to 400 ton of gold in a specific market alone. Then, if we look into the emerging opportunity, in India is a global luxury bright spot, rising HNI concentration, luxury e-commerce expansion, post-pandemic luxury recovery, India's premium jewelry market potential. So, all in all, there are a lot of levers which are pushing to overall jewelry theme, right? And because of that, be it main player or proxy players, they are actually gaining the market share. Look into this particular slide which talks about insight and trends. So seasonal and regional factor to drive the demand. So one is marriage seasons. So demand peaks during May, June, September, November, and January. Then agriculture influence. Then festive boost. Gold and silver jewelry sales arrive during Diwali, Dhanteras, etc. Now let's look into our first stock, Kalyan Jewelers. Market cap is around 50k crore and stock P is on high side which is around 75. Now let's get into the results. Okay, so now let's see the details of Q3 results. So Kalyan Jewellers has added around 24 new showrooms during this quarter and revenue growth is of around 42%. Gross profit has grown around 17%, EBITDA has grown around 19%, and PAT has grown around 30%. Now let's see the India performance. So within India, we all know Kalyan is a southern player. So basically, they started their operation from South India, and that is where in the case of Kalyan, it's good to see South versus North India revenue or non-South revenue rather. So South revenue has increased by 35% year on year, whereas non-South revenue has increased 48%. The gold revenue has increased by 37% and studded revenue has increased by 54%. And if you see the same store sales growth, then in South it is around 23% and non-South it's around 25%. In Middle East, the revenue has grown by 23%, gross profit has grown by 21%, EBITDA has also grown by 22%, and the PAT has grown 11%. Number of showroom also increased from 34 to 36. Now let's see the consolidated income statement. So year on year, if we see, revenue has grown by 40% and then EBITDA has grown by 19% and the PAT has grown by 21%. One thing which I would like to mention here, the EBITDA margin, which was around 7.1% last year quarter 3, that got decreased and now it's stood around 6% this quarter. So this is one of the point where Kalyan is actually not growing in a right manner and EBITDA has decreased drastically year on year. So Kalyan is actually currently using FOCO model to increase their presence in the market. FOCO model is nothing but a franchisee owned company operated stores. So this is a sort of asset light model for them. So even if in the objective section, if you see, they are trying to leverage the Kalyan brand and utilize the infrastructure and resources of the owner, which means they don't want to invest their capital upfront, and this is a sort of asset light model, and this is the reason they are enjoying high PAT margins, and they are saying they will continue to use this FOCO model going forward at least till 2026 or 7, because currently they have a certain level of debt which they are trying to repay, and once that debt will repaid, then they will assess their strategy whether they want to go for COCO model, which is company owned, company operated, or maybe they will look for some other avenues of growth. Also, the PAT which we see that there has an impact of around 54 crores, which is because of the custom duty. So they have taken a cut last quarter. Even in this quarter, they have taken a cut of around 54 crore. So basically, when we see the PAT, if we add this 54 crore in the PAT, then even the PAT growth will be much more higher than 30%. So now let's discuss another stock, PN Gadgil. So size of the company is small and valuation of the PN Gadgil is attractive as compared to other player. I think the PE of the company is around 40 or 41. Okay. Although the growth rate of Gadgil is slow as compared to Kalyan or Titan this quarter, I think last quarter it outperformed Kalyan, but this quarter the growth is around 24% on small base. Whereas Kalyan, I think grew approximately 41 to 42%, and Titan's revenue growth was around 25%. So that could be one of the issue or problem, like because my expectation is if a company's base is small, then it should be outperforming Kalyan. But in overall sector, I think on a small base, they are not able to grow or outperform, I would say, Kalyan, but they are growing by 24 or 25%. So now if we see the overall consolidated performance for current quarter, so revenue has grown by 23.5%, and then the EBITDA has increased by 37%. EBITDA margin has increased by 50 basis point, okay, and the PAT has increased by 49.4%. It means there is operating leverage which this company is enjoying because revenue has grown by 23%, whereas PAT has grown by around 49.5%. And even the PAT margin increased from 2.6% to 3.5%, which means around 60 basis point. Even PAT margin has grown. Even in this slide, the same number in a different format. But if you see the store count, so for 2024, the overall store count were around 36, whereas now till December, store counts are around 48. So basically, they have increased almost around 12 stores, which is around 33% of growth year on year basis. And it's a state level player. So like all their stores are in Maharashtra. As of now, they have not gone beyond Maharashtra, but their strategy is that moving forward, they will be opening stores in different states like Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh and others, right? And that is what we have to see whether the kind of growth they have exhibit in Maharashtra, whether they are able to do the same or not, right? Whether they'll be able to reflect the same or not. So that is what we have to see. So it's all about execution apart from Maharashtra. That is what we have to see in coming quarter. And if we see like the overall store count, so for every store when a company opens, then there is operational expense, right? Which a company has to take upfront. So even after opening 12 stores, EBITDA has increased. It means they are actually able to grow the EBITDA irrespective of adding new operational expense, which is a good sign. Now let's see this particular slide, which actually talks about the commitment. So if we see the commitment for store expansion, so 9 store already launched till Q3 2025, and they will be opening more store because the overall commitment was were around 12, right? So 75% of commitment they have already achieved as far as store expansion is concerned. Also, they have repaid 3,000 million loan, right? So that is 100% achieved. This is more of bank restructuring, and then the gold hedging. So if we see the GML gold metal loan, they were able to hedge almost 84% of gold, and that is 100% achieved, which means so due to 100% hedging, now they can manage the gold price volatility, and that is why this particular gold hedging is very important for them. And if we talk about new year, so next year company is guiding to open 25 new store, and company will also focus on expansion outside of Maharashtra in next year. I have already mentioned that. Now let's discuss another stock, Sky Gold. So it's a proxy player in jewelry theme. The overall valuation looks good. So stock P is around 50. ROC and ROE looks good. Stock has already given a run up of I think 8 to 9 times last 1 year or 1.5 year. But I feel this could be one of the stock in the jewelry theme which can do well. So let's delve into the overall result of Q3. So if we see the highlights of Q3, revenue has grown year on year 116%, whereas EBITDA has grown year on year almost 217%, and PAT has grown 300 plus percent, 309% year on year. Also, revenue split is around like 93% is domestic versus 7% export. And the volume wise, last quarter it was 345 kg, whereas this quarter is 447 kgs. So as I mentioned, Sky Gold is a proxy player. They are actually manufacturer of jewelry for all the big brand name. If you see their clientele, so Malabar, Kalyan, Tanishq, PN Gadgil, Joya Lucas. They have all the big names and they are manufacturing jewelry for all these big brands. And and in Q3, they were able to actually onboard Cartland, PN Gadgil, and Aditya Birla Jewels, which is like Indriya. This is, I think, Aditya Birla has around 10 or 12 showroom as of now, and they are trying to expand it to 100. So now they have onboarded them also. So now look at the vision of the Sky Gold. They want to achieve the revenue of 6,300 crore by financial year 27. They have actually acquired two companies, and now capacity utilization is approx 150 kg per month. That is what they are trying to achieve. Then the PAT margin is around 3%, and ROC should be more than 25%. This is the kind of vision they have. How they'll be able to fulfill this vision? So basically, they're trying to diversify into new jewelry segment. So here in this slide, you can see company has mentioned strengthening its market presence. They have introduced new categories like 18 karat gold, natural diamond jewelry, and lab grown diamond jewelry. In parallel, the company is actively expanding its distribution network in Singapore market to further boost its export revenue. And also earlier they were not having enough capacity to onboard big names like Titan and all. So they have actually increased the capacity by acquiring I think two companies, and that is why the overall market size also increased for them because it's a proxy player. So one can understand when main player will grow, like Kalyan, Titan, PN Gadgil, Senko, when they'll grow, automatically the proxy player will grow because the demand is deriving from those clients. I've tried to cover the highlights so that one can understand why this player can grow in jewelry sector. I have not gone through in detail for all these stocks in their quarterly result. I have tried to capture the gist of it so that it can help you to understand how these stocks are going in this particular sector. But I would say please go through these results so that you can understand more about it. And also I wanted to discuss about Senco Gold, but in this quarter they have not done well. So I thought of restricting this video to three stocks which are actually done well. That's it for today's video. We'll meet in next video with new stocks.